Imagine a bank that goes where you go, creating seamless solutions for every step in your financial journey, allowing you to manage your money the way you want to, with a banking relationship that makes every day extraordinary. Imagine a world full of possibilities, always within reach. Central Bank. We
And welcome back to Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, presented by LiUNA Labor's Local 663 and our team of the week. And we go to Pleasant Hill High School, home of the Roosters, and head football coach Justin Hamilton. Coach Hamilton, thanks for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Coach, you're off to a great start, 5-0. Let's talk a little bit about your season start and coming into this season. Obviously, with graduation and thing, who and kind of what positions did you kind of have to replace?
Coming in, we graduated 22 seniors last year, which was just a lot for us, and lost in the state semifinals. And we had to replace 10 guys on offense. We returned one starter on the offensive side of the ball, and that was one receiver. So we had to replace our entire offensive line. We had to get a new quarterback. We did have a running back that started middle linebacker that did play some running back for us last year, but he wasn't our full-time running back. And we had some spots to fill. That being said, defensively, we felt pretty good about the defensive line we were returning and our inside linebackers and our defense. We knew coming into this year that our defense was going to have to carry us and get some stops so our offense could get rolling in some games as the season progressed.
Off to a 5-0 start. You're just a little bit over halfway through the season. Are you relatively healthy right now?
Defensively, we're pretty banged up front right now. We lost a kid on the last defensive snap against Odessa last week to a knee issue. Brody Kohler was a two-time All-State kid for us. Probably going to be a third-timer this year. He got hurt on the very last play of the game. And then we had a defensive end who week 3 against Harrisonville broke his hand in the first quarter, played the entire game with a broken hand, had surgery the following week that we hope to have back here in the next week or two. And we got another defensive end, Carter Hole, who's has got some bruising going on, and just they're so big and physical that we're beat up front right now. So one thing we've talked about is we got to adapt and overcome, and our kids have handled it pretty well so far.
Again, visiting with Pleasant Hill head football coach Justin Hamilton here on the LiUNA Labor's Local 663 Team of the Week focus. Coach, a little bit about yourself. How long have you been at Pleasant Hill? Where did you go to high school, college, and how'd you end up there?
I went to Odessa High School. Grew up in Odessa, Missouri, and then went to Central Methodist University and played football there for 4 years in Fayette. And out of college, got hired as a business teacher and assistant football coach at Belton High School, where I was at for 13 years. And then after 13 years there, I always wanted to be a head coach. It's kind of, you got to see the right jobs open up. And, I grew up in a school similar to the size of Pleasant Hill and played football at a school similar to the size of Pleasant Hill, and knew that's kind of a place I wanted to be. So this is my 4th year as the head football coach here at Pleasant Hill.
Well, outstanding. Well, now you've got a very good Oak Grove team that you're going to travel to. Tell us a little bit about Oak Grove and what you're going to have to do there in that contest.
They're physical, and Pat Richards, the head football coach there, does a good job, and he wants to ground and pound you with what they do offensively. They're big up front. They got some physical running backs who run hard, and we're going to have to stop the run because it's one of those situations this week to where all he wants is 3 yards, and he'll go for it on 4th and 1 every single time to keep our offense off the field. And offensively, we just got to get going sooner. I told our team this week that, we've asked the defense to kind of carry us throughout the year until we could get going. Now it's time for the offense's turn to help out the defense with us being so banged up on that side of the ball. And, they're 4-1, and we've talked about winning the conference title. And, we played at Odessa last week, who's a really good football team in Class 3 that I think is going to make a deep playoff run. And we were on the road last week, so we've kind of preached that we got to be road warriors if we want to win a conference title. And we got another big one this week against Oak Grove, who's only lost us to Odessa. So,
Coach, tell us a little bit about your conference. And a lot of times people across the state don't exactly know whose conference. We just had a group down in Southwest Missouri, Hollister, Reed Spring, and Springfield Catholic. they decide they're leaving the Big Eight. So it's a year-to-year deal. So kind of handicap your conference a little bit.
We play in the Missouri River Valley Conference to the west side, Class 3 and Class 4 schools. It's us, Harrisonville, Odessa, Oak Grove, Warrensburg, Clinton, and Center. And, I mean, it's a gauntlet. I told our kids after we played Harrisonville week 3 to start conference play. It's been conference play since then. I told our kids, I said, it's going to be physical. It's going to be a gauntlet. And we've seen that. We were pretty physically beat up after we beat Harrisonville in week 3. It's a physical gauntlet. Each week you're going to be playing a physical football team, and you got to match that physicality or exceed it if you want to be able to win football games. And that's what our conference is, man. And it's that way every year. And, it's so level across the top that you don't – I think I told somebody before the season started, whoever ends up winning the conference is probably going to have a conference loss underneath them just because of the way our conference is.
Your Class 4 District 5, right now you're atop that district with the 5-0 record and 45.5 points. Talk a little bit about your district and when do coaches start looking at those numbers, and trying to figure out what we got to do?
We kind of keep an eye on them all year long. In our district, this is our first year being in Class 4 since I've been here. It's so big from east to west that, we could have to travel to Jeff City possibly. And you got Osage in there, you got Marshall, Warrensburg, who we'll see in conference play, Van Horn, who's Kansas City area. Just how widespread it is. And, that's kind of one thing I've talked to our coaches about is I think it's pretty important that we get a 1 or 2 seed and get to host a majority of those games so we don't have to travel that far. And like I said, we always kind of keep an eye on it. Ultimately, it's going to play itself out. That's the nice thing. This isn't like other sports where coaches have to vote on, with seeding and things like that. The numbers take care of itself. So as long as we kind of just control what we tell our kids, control what we can moving forward, hopefully by the end of the season, we're kind of where we need to be at in terms of district seeding.
So what time are you guys getting on the bus? How far of a travel is it to Oak Grove?
We'll probably get on about 4:15. It's about a 30-minute bus ride. Not very far. I like to try to show up around 5, give our kids about 40 to 45 minutes to get dressed, get taped, whatever they need to do. And we start on the field about 5:45 every game.
Outstanding. Well, if I go to scoreboardguide.net or the MissouriSportsNetwork.com the next morning and I see that Pleasant Hill came out victorious, are you going to be able to point at 1 or 2 stats? They're going to say, hey, this is why I won the game, whether it's turnovers, penalties. Are there 1 or 2 stats you're worried about going into this game?
I think turnovers. I think if we don't turn over the ball, that we're not giving their offense who wants to drain the clock extra possessions. I think their run game we got to be able to stop. And one goal, we have a goal of the week for our defense, and that's 3 yards or less on average per rush. If we can maintain that, and then I'll be honest, I think the difference is special teams. We're really confident in our special teams. We spend a lot of time on them. And I think that has the opportunity to play a big part in this game. I think it's why we won last week, as well as our offense and defense have played. But our special teams were solid and no mistakes and forced a turnover. And, if we can play well on special teams, I think that's going to have a large impact on the game as well.
Well, outstanding. Well, Coach, I greatly appreciate you being generous here with your time, and we look forward to visiting with you. And it was nice to meet you for the first time.
You too. You as well. Thank you for what you're doing for high school football. We need more people doing stuff like this.
You bet. You bet. You're watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.